So I would like to tell you what I was like when I was a child. So I was born in 1993, and 3 years later, in about 1996, I started dancing, and did ballroom and Latin dancing for about 10 years. And I was put into it because I had coordination problems, and it really did help me actually. And I like dancing, so I used to watch things like Strictly all the time. I don't so much now, but I really enjoyed it, and I did it for about 10 years, give or take, because it might have been a bit shorter. It might not have been. It might not have been 10 years, but then obviously you start everything to do with school, so like playgroup and reception and whatever. And I met this girl in, I think it was nursery or playgroup, and we went. I think we moved up schools together to middle school, and then we both went to different secondary schools. But we used to, like the leads that come out of coloured pencils. We used to colour with them instead of throwing them away. So we never used to. I don't think we used the pencils. We just used to use the little bits of lead that come out of the pencils to colour in. Anyway, then we obviously moved up to school, where in my time, when you were in the school before middle, you started in reception, year 1, year 2, year 3. So you went to that first school for 4 years. And then in middle school, you went from year 4. This is obviously me because of when I was born. You went year 4, year 5, year 6 and year 7. So that's another 4 years. And then you'd leave middle school and go to secondary school, and for me that was 4 years as well. So that was year 8, year 9, year 10 and year 11. So that's obviously compulsory, and I went to college afterwards, but let me get on with school. So I liked school and I was good at school, and I liked English. It was one of my best subjects that I got in GCSE. Not the best, but it was one of my best, along with science. I got a D in English language and a D in science in my GCSEs. And you gotta think, like, when you move up to secondary school, you get sorted into your, like, are they called levels, or in mine they're called bands. And because I went up with quite low SAT scores from middle school, I got put in the bottom classes for everything. And this meant that I wasn't allowed to learn a language at school. A language, obviously. Well, a language. Which I think is wrong, because I should have been allowed to learn a language instead of something that I didn't want to do. And I was always a good reader. I remember this one time at middle school, you obviously started on the Biff, Chip and Kipper books, and I'd got quite good at reading, and I can't remember what level I was on the Biff, Chip and Kipper, but I just used to read a book. I was reading so quickly that I got to the top level and then got to free reader, I think it was called. But yeah, I really like school. But I also had a lot of extracurricular activities that I did. So when I was a lot younger, I did football training for a little while. And then when I got a little bit older, I found this one really when I was really quite a lot older. I think I was about 15 or 16 when I found the Army Cadets. But I did enjoy the Army Cadets. I did some charity work, like bag packing in supermarkets and things like that. I went like away with them for weekends. I went away on days out, like we did a freedom parade somewhere. And I did like things where we walked around and we litter picked at places, and we went to like a athletics thing. So I did a lot. I've done a lot really, if you think about it. I did try and go away for like 2 weeks in the summer with the cadets. I think it was annual camp, but I couldn't. Not that I couldn't. I got homesick and I didn't want to stay. But it was because it was my birthday while I was away. And I'd never been away from my family on my birthday before. So my nan and gramps came to pick me back up. And also as a child, I went to a lot of places with my gramps where he grew up. He took me to the old Tottenham Stadium before it closed. On a match day before it started, they were playing West Bromwich Albion. This would probably have been over 20 years ago now. I went to the place he was born. I went to Hastings, he grew up there. So I've been to a lot of places. I've always also been to where my nan grew up, in London. But yeah, so I've done a lot and I've achieved a lot. But thank you guys for listening.